So guys, one of you asked me how I approach my BFS fishing, how I set up my bait caster, how I cast as well. So I'm going to make a little video. By the way, I'm no expert. I've been doing this for 2 years or so. Have a rough idea how this works. So I'm going to try and explain in an easy way. So BFS, bait finesse system, was invented in Japan to use bait casters to throw stuff under 5 grams, I would say, that you can't normally throw on a normal bait caster. So the reel, it's basically the same as a normal bait caster. You have the brakes and you have the spool tension knob. So spool tension knob, brakes. The main difference is BFS reels use a shallow spool, so it takes way less line. They drilled or grooved, so they weigh lighter. They weigh around, let's say, 7 grams. The brakes, they're different as well. I mean, they're still magnetic brakes as you have on normal bait casters, but let's call it fine-tuned, but like it's not over-braked, otherwise you can't throw a tiny load. And the rod, normally ultra-light or light rod, so 1 to 10 grams, let's say, it's the normal weight for a BFS. So how I adjust my reel, basically like a normal bait caster. If you're starting, you put these in the middle, brakes, so you have a minimum and a max, so 1 to 10 normally, so you put on 5. Spool tension the same, so you have the spool tension knob here. You don't want side movement. If you leave the spool too loose, so you go up, you will have a movement side to side. You don't want that movement. That will make easier for you to have a backlash. So how you know it's in the middle? Well, how I normally do is like take the tension off, and when it stops having that side to side movement, it's okay. And then the rest obviously is by feel, so you will cast and you know if you need more or less brakes or more or less spool. So one easy way to know if you need more brakes or more spool tension, right, or less, when you cast, if you backlash straight away, that's definitely brakes. If you backlash halfway through your cast, more towards the end of the cast, then definitely spool, so you need to add more tension to the spool, right? So you will cast, if it's over braking, so when you cast and it's over braking, you will pull your line to the side. It's not going where you want. So on a bait caster, the spool moves with the line, if that makes sense. So you don't want the spool to be slower than the line, or the spool to be faster, right? If that makes any sense. It's quite a bit tricky to explain. Another thing is like you don't want a thick line on it, and you don't want a lot of line. The more line you put, the less distance you're going to get, because obviously spool is going to be heavier with more line. So I'm using 6-pound fluoro. That's again up to you. Some people prefer braid, some fluoro, mono. I actually prefer mono on a BFS rod. It molds to the spool easily, but again, that's like a personal preference. On this one I have 2.5 gram bullet weight on a tiny Texas rig, so we have roughly 5 grams maybe. This reel is not known to throw 2 grams or whatever, so I use it for this kind of weights. Let's say you're starting, you just got your combo now, you got everything ready to go. What you're going to do, so as I said, set your brakes to the middle, so in this case would be here. So this goes to 0 to 6, so some go 0 to 10, 0 to 20, whatever, but they're all the same. You put in the middle between minimum and max, right? Your spool, so you lose it, as I was explaining. I hope you guys can see. So you see the side to side movement on the spool there. You don't want that. So what you're going to do, you're going to tighten that until that movement disappears. You don't want that movement. Like personally, I prefer my reel to like with a looser spool and brakes, but that's again personal preference. At this point you should be ready for your first cast. So one thing I like to do is like let your load drop, right, and see how fast it drops. So it's still dropping quite fast. I mean, you can tighten the spool a bit more, add a bit more brakes if you want. Yeah, like to me this is ideal. Some people prefer it dropping it like slower, but that's basically how I set it up. So when you cast, obviously it's not a normal bait cast. You're not going to do overhead casts, you know what I'm saying, like crazy casts. what works best for me is like on the arm cast, so like these and these. But you want to load the tip of the rod, so when you cast you want that, you know, so it throws the lure. This works for a normal bait caster or BFS, but on the BFS I feel like it's more flick of the wrist, while on a bait caster throwing heavier lures you're going to, you know, throw your arm out there. This is way more about accuracy and not distance, so obviously there's a bit of a big water for BFS, but like if you fish in a smaller river or something, then yeah, BFS would be perfect for that. Another thing why I don't like to use braid as well, it's the knots. So BFS rods normally have really tiny guides, as you can see here, I think. Yeah, so they're super tiny, and I don't like the feel of the knots going through the guide, so it just goes straight through fluoro. So I like to have the lure like closer to the tip of the rod, and then I'm basically just going to flick it. So it's first cast, I'm not going to bomb this to the other side. And if it's your first time using a BFS, don't go for 2 grams or 1 gram, just start with a heavier weight like 5 grams or something like that, so you know you just can cast without, you know, much effort. So first cast is going to be a bit of a flick, hope you guys can see. There he goes. So this means I can put a bit more tension on the spool. Yeah, so 3 clicks I think would be alright for that. I can lose the brakes a bit too, so as I said it's like, you know, a bit of feel, you know, like what you need to do. So I tighten the spool like 3 clicks. I'm going to lose the brakes a bit because I feel like I should.
How do you feel?
I'm very feel.
Well, let's try again. Another cast, little flick. There he goes. Perfect. You see? I'm not going to try and bomb these to the other side. It's not the goal of the BFS. Well, in my opinion. Like, I don't know if we're going to catch any fish. This is not the goal of the video. It's just to show you guys how I approach my BFS fishing and how this works roughly. Underarm cast again, now from the left side, same. I try to do this little flick like this, so it loads the tip of the rod, and there goes the lure. Line is alright, can take a bit of tension off the spool, let it move a bit more freely. Can take a bit of brakes as well, too over brake for me. But yeah, pretty much is that. I'll cast around a bit more, so hopefully you can see the way I cast. Hopefully it's going to be a good help as well if you're just starting. Another thing, I use my thumb to slow down the spool, but that's something you get used to with time. I do have a bit more line on this spool than I usually do, just because I normally throw slightly bigger lures on this one, and yeah, I'll bomb it to the other side if I'm using a heavier BFS combo, let's call it. But yeah, just put like, you know, 60 yards of line, 50 meters or so. It should be more than enough. Yeah, not much effort, and I got down there, and I'm still quite a bit over braked, and the spool has quite a bit of tension, so you know, you just then, you know, you go bit by bit and try to take a bit, you know, of that spool tension. One click of the brakes, try and see. I'm going to add some footage at the end now of me using some of my BFS reels, so you can see me casting as well a bit more in real conditions and catching some fish. So hope you guys enjoyed, hope it was helpful. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. See you on the next one. Yeah. I need a net, man. It's not a bad one. Probably 30 centimeter perch.
Excellent, excellent. Ever.
Yeah.
Like quite easy.
Just do it, man. Oh yeah.
Yeah, nice, good one.
Oh, he's a good one, man.
Oh yes.
Oh man, he's a beast.
Come on. Oh yes. Yeah, I've got it. Come on. Yes.
Oh, she's going, man. She's going.
Come on.
She's going.
Oh, that's beautiful, that mate. That's a really nice fish. Well in, bro.